Hello, welcome to my stream. Minute 47, but we're going to start over again. So there's lessons to be learned from the Thunderbolts box office. Things that I've seen, I realize, but lessons that my audience and other people don't seem to get. There seems to be like a conversation happening over. Now I'm angry. I'm angry because of the mic stuff. I'm not angry at my audience, but there seems to be a conversation that's happening about like, well, the movie was good, right? Right. Look, they're getting this guy to direct the movie for the X-Men now. It's a good movie. People are thinking like that. That's the conversation happening. Hey, what about the Rotten Tomatoes? Hey, Cinema Score was pretty good. That people are talking about that. I'm talking about reality of business and how business and creativity have to work together. It's not, damn, you guys are being bad fans because you're not realizing what's going on, what's at stake here. We're supposed to like good things. We're supposed to positive encouragement can result to getting more good movies, and other thoughts are coming out. I'm thinking, no, making lots of money with your movies provides the potential to take more risks, like movies like Thunderbolts. So if Thunderbolts did really well, they would be able to go, yo, we can do anything with Marvel logo on it. That's why Eternals came out. They would have never made an Eternals movie. Kevin Feige wouldn't have in 2012. But with the success and everything is going the way it goes, he goes, sure. Not only am I doing Eternals, I'm going to throw in Shang-Chi. Why not? I can take a risk. Black Panther worked out well. The last time I did a risk with Doctor Strange, it worked out well. He's thinking to himself, he can do more. He can do unique properties. He can dig in and do stuff. He's done too many of them consecutively, and he probably should have realized when Thunderbolts was in pre-development, he could have canceled this movie because of the result we're going to get. Now, the result we're going to get which is the box office result, will mean that we don't have enough time to do the bums, the duds, the risks, the risk. Let's just use the word risk to be polite. The risky characters. That's the lesson we're supposed to take from Thunderbolts doing a 74 million opening weekend. And then I think it was 5 million for Monday, 7 million for Tuesday, $4 million for Wednesday. And the Thursday numbers may have been updated, but probably not yet. I'll get to that at some point during the stream, actually, to see if it's going to remain at like 4,300,000. Will it be 4.3 million, or will it dip down lower to like 3.3 million? We'll see how bad Thursday turns out. Or you know what else we can see? We can see if Chillmonger is wrong by projecting the downward spiral of this movie, and I didn't take into account that calling the movie New Avengers or positive word of mouth from friends recommending it or repeat viewings is going to result in some uptick for this movie. Something like what Sinners had, which is a rarity. Sinners did some amazing stuff. And I don't mean to say exactly what Sinners did, like having a minus 5% drop in the second week. I don't mean that. That's not going to happen. But if maybe the drop is only minus 40%, like Black Panther, that's what that was. And what's amazing about Black Panther's 40% drop, I think it grossed 205 million in its opening weekend. So you expect, okay, the drop is going to be a big drop because of how much we started with. That's not the case, bro. That's not what happened. Figure drawing. See you writing a comment. Thank you for being here early. Thunderbolts is a failure. So please expound on that. If you're clickbaiting, you hooked me. Yeah, I clickbaited. Of course I did. I put a very attractive thumbnail to make people realize, like, oh, this is serious. This is going to be one of those streams. I clickbaited, and maybe here, they are nobody. I did clickbait you, but also I'm telling you the truth. So while it is an attractive thumbnail and an attractive title, I'm going to tell you exactly why, how, and I'm okay with it. Because clickbaiting a dirty word, maybe there needs to be a better word for it. Good topic, but give me a good movie like Thunderbolts over a shit movie that's very successful. Minecraft. When we do those false comparisons, the either ors of it's got to be this or it's got to be that. Nah, like it doesn't actually have to be the extreme polar opposite, which is, like you said, Minecraft is a crap movie. I didn't watch it, but you said Minecraft is a crap movie, so I'd rather take the good movie. Yeah, you're the viewer. Of course, you'd rather always have a good movie. But I, the person who wants this comic book medium superheroes to continue, specifically the ones whose skin is dark, but I want those characters to have a chance and for a risk to be taken on more black characters like Blade. You need Thunderbolts to do well. Lots of people love Minecraft though. Yeah, he was just giving his opinion, and I respect Figure drawing his opinion. Thunderbolts will have a 57% drop. So how in any way are we not calling that one a failure? Because it wasn't a spectacular opening considering the budget. $74 million on a budget of 180 million and all the marketing. It's a Marvel movie. When you only gross 74 million, okay, fine. I mean, maybe that drop won't be so badly in the second weekend, and you're telling me it's going to be a 57% drop. That's an expected drop for like a regular old movie that grosses 74 million. There's no comeback for this to reach profitability. There's no t-shirts being sold unless you guys think that the new Avengers t-shirts are doing the thing. How is it doing internationally? That's a great question. Movies like Avengers Endgame, I think 30-something% domestically, but the international numbers grossed to like 65%. It was like a great turnout. Only 1/3 of it came from domestic because the rest of the world loved it. That's not happening. Zach, you axe, and Zach, you shall receive. And Zach, do you want to link to this if you're free to jump in, or if you're, I like you, I'd like talking to you, we can do that. Thunderbolts. Oh, here you asked me the domestic split. The domestic is 51%. The international audience is about 48%. That's not a good turnout. You want your international audience to be more than the domestic audience. There's just so many more countries and so many more markets, and there's so much proof. Like I told you about Avengers. If we look at some of the one from 2012, well, the domestic audience was 41%. The rest of the world sure showed out with 59%. That's not even the best one, though. Avengers Endgame, you kidding me? 30% domestic, 69. They had a nice international box office show out. People came all over the world. There was no, we got to wait till streaming because in 2019, in summer 2019, there was no Disney Plus. China, how much did China grossed a 175 opening, but overall $600 million from China. $600 million from China. The audience exists for international. And because they're not there for Thunderbolts, Thunderbolts. And they did not give me my Thursday yet. I'm waiting for that to refresh and show me what the Thursday returns are. If it goes up, which would be a surprise, if there's more than 4,000,003, I would say, maybe this movie can come back. Maybe the marketing's working. No. But the Thunderbolts international audience, 48%, is whack, is lackluster, is flawed. You get me? It's flawed. I'm actually in a movie theater waiting for the movie to start. Solid. You got your AirPods on. Respect. MCU got to learn. It don't matter how good the writing is or how good the actors you hire are. It doesn't. I'm going to keep reading that in a second. But it doesn't matter about the quality of the actors. What matters is you scout Sarah Haley Finn. You find an unknown or he's experienced, but he also doesn't have that much of a brand where he can demand that he's going to charge you guys. You just scout and find a small name actor. You get that actor, you bring him into Marvel, and you say, you're playing the superhero Scott Summers, a 28-year-old. He's going to say, wow, this is awesome. My life is set. They're going to go, 10-year plan for X-Men? Where do I sign? That's what you do. You sign these guys long-term who are unknown, and you let the characters be it. We don't need necessarily like the best actor in the world for Scott Summers. I can settle for very good. Do the storylines and adapt them from comic book. Allow for your directors to shine. Allow for other people to shine. Now, when it comes to directors, hire the best you can get. I think that's a good usage of your dollars for directors. Let's have the guys steer the ship. Get the Russos, get what they deserve. Pay them what they deserve. Yes. When it comes to the actors, I don't care about the quality of the actors or how big of an actor Pedro Pascal is or everyone on the Eternals who was like a big name actor. It didn't matter to us. You have data, Marvel. You have your box office results that show you that. You have the lesson Are you going to learn from it? Or will you be in denial? No, I still got to do it my way. What are you going to do about that lesson that we, the audience, collectively have shown you, the general audience specifically, who said, I can pass on this one. I'll show up for No Way Home. I like that it's got 3 different Spider-Man, and I watched those 3 movies. They're going to reward my homework. I like that. The whole homework stuff, and I'm tangenting now. The whole homework stuff, I think I know who the homework is being done by. Kevin Feige is doing the homework. He's going, oh man, I gotta write the story about fucking this character. It's got to integrate with the old movies. What's the newest TV show that just came out? And now it's got to be integrated with that. He's the one who's doing homework, who's tired of doing the homework. He's not saying the fans are tired of homework. He's thinking that this planning, this burden that is happening right now. Homework, yes. His homework, Kevin Feige's homework, is what he's complaining about, not me, the fan, doing homework or the casual audience. Every time a movie required homework, it feels like it's done the most amount of money. You know why cameos are special? Because we did the homework. And that's why Blade showing up in Deadpool Wolverine was so fantastic. Elektra with a little joke about Daredevil. Little joke because, she divorced Ben Affleck. Or Ben Affleck divorced her, one or the other. We get that because why? We had prior knowledge, homework. We had information. So MCU gotta learn. Don't matter how good the writing is or how good the actors you hire are. If they are playing heroes that the audience and the casuals and comic fans are like, give a frack about. It's not great. It's not great. It's also not bad. You can be profitable, successful with a 50-50 split. It's possible to do. It's not happening. Like, really, Eternals and Thunderbolts starring Yelena over Blade and Ghost Rider? That's what I'm talking about. We had so many of these hitters. But unfortunately for us, as Thunderbolts doesn't do well, this could be used as a reason for why Blade doesn't happen. You know what I want, though? You know what I would really like, though? A Blade movie to happen with a reasonable budget. So we just had Sinners with $90 million. A lot of that money went to cast members, we can imagine. I would do a Blade movie, and a lot of the money doesn't go to big cast members. You've used $100 million, but you use most of that money for casting on Mahershala Ali, and everyone else is unknown. Don't look for Delroy Lindo. Look for another old guy who hasn't had to work in a few years, but he'd love to sign. Find actors who are affordable, and use the rest of the budget of the 100 million, 120 million maybe. Use the rest of the budget on making a spectacular movie. Have a director be creative with how the kills happen because he doesn't have the access to CGI people. You guys, do something with squirting and blood and vampires and teeth. Instead, he's got to be creative with it. In John Wick, they had creative camera angles. We remember the 4th John Wick movie from the ceiling, and they were shooting down and recording down, and you can see him doing all the killing. Creativity is pretty cost efficient. Make sure to like and share the stream. Hindsight, they could have combined the Anthony Mackie Cap movie with Thunderbolts. It could have helped lead the team. You know what? Well, you know why that's not good hindsight, though? Because of what the team is and what Sam Anthony Falcon is. He's not really Captain America. They're not really the Avengers. She's not really Black Widow. And John Walker's not really the true Captain America. Red Guardian is just a knockoff Captain America. Bucky the Winter Soldier is a C-list character. Because of who they are, and because of what their relevance is to the Infinity Saga, the multiverse saga, rather, I didn't care about these movies. I had a weird experience with the movie, with Thunderbolts. It was just like, he's not going to matter. He doesn't matter at all. They're spending a lot of time on Yelena, but I know that the Black Widow is going to be back because Scarlett Johansson still has a relationship with the studio. I see knockoff versions of what the real guys are, and they won't be factors in Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday has a casting. The top castings are going to be Pedro Pascal as the Mr. Fantastic and Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Robert Downey Jr., he's going to be playing Iron Man or Dr. Doom, some people say. We have the top casting. We have the relevant stars, the iconic characters of Avengers Doomsday is set. I don't think any of these 5 people on Thunderbolts are going to have longer than 10 minutes of screen time during the movie, and they won't be so significant to the plot. And if they are, Avengers Doomsday might, if they spend just as much time on Yelena Belova as Thunderbolts did, it might suffer, and it might not be a $2 billion movie. And I use 2 billion just because Infinity War and Endgame did that. It might not do that. Avengers Endgame, maybe Doomsday may be a movie that underperforms expectations while still making a whole lot of money, but it'll leave money on the table. I don't think that the Thunderbolts are gonna be these significant characters. That's how I watched the movie, waiting for something major to happen. Oh, here comes Sentry. Okay, and what happened with Sentry happened with Sentry. For those of you who watched, it's lackluster. If you ask me, I need movies where the villains fight, the villains are evil, the villains go down, and not like the power of friendship will fix this problem type movies, type endings. That's what we got with the Thunderbolts, bro. The lessons that we can learn from the Thunderbolts need to be learned from the Thunderbolts, or we'll keep being where we are. The conversation of how good the movie is and the quality of it don't mean as much as you think. If you know what it would means, it would mean something if the good quality of the movie of the Thunderbolts, which is these people who we see on screen right here, if the quality from Red Guardian and Ghost and Taskmaster Yelena and Robert Reynolds, John Walker, and Bucky Barnes, if they were A-list stars, who, I mean, rather, if these stars were elevated to A-listers because their movie grossed money, but because they are nobody, people see this movie, they hear that it's good, cinema score of A minus. It's got a great reputation. The fans are rallying around it. There's even secondary marketing with now that the new Avengers. People still see this picture and they go, we're not going to see it. The quality of the movie doesn't matter because the quality of the movie isn't being converted into movie tickets. And I'm telling you that on Friday, before we get the results from the second weekend drop. I'm letting you know that I'm predicting it. It's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. I've read tea leaves, I've seen it. I know how fans, as a fan myself, I know how fans will think of this movie in the second week. I know that there's not going to be that many people repeatedly watching it. It's going to come on Disney Plus any minute now. We've been trained to believe after 90 days, 3 months, that movie that was in the movie theaters will be seen on Disney Plus. People don't have the urgencies to wait. They know that there's no rush to see these guys because the next film is called The Fantastic Four, and there's no rush because the Fantastic Four isn't going to even happen in this universe in the Thunderbolts. The characters don't associate with each other. There's no rush or fear of missing out like there was when Black Panther 2018 happened. You know, on Wednesday, April 23rd, 2018, 24th, I watched Black Panther in the movie theaters because I had to do homework. This is true. I said, I need to know what's going on in Infinity War. I'm going to rewatch Black Panther. What a perfect day. And then I'll be back at the cinema tomorrow and I can see the beginning of Infinity War. But this second watch of Black Panther will have an attention to Wakanda. And I think there's going to be a war in Infinity War. So I got to see Wakanda one more time. Why not? It was a great usage of my money. I felt like I was piling onto the black success that was Black Panther in the movement. I was like, that's how I felt because that movie took place right before Infinity War. Likewise with Captain Marvel, I can't say I did the same thing the day before, but I do know I rewatched Captain Marvel just to know, okay, right, this is right before an Endgame, right? Let me get myself prepped. It's in the movie theaters. Let me do that. I think I did it a third time. I think for Captain Marvel. I think they don't have that with the Thunderbolts. So the urgency isn't there anymore. And Disney Plus has taught us the way that they have the short windows has taught us just wait. Now, if there was not a fear of missing out, if there was a fear of missing out, we'd be in a better place. But they've trained their audience that they can wait. You consumed a Marvel product? Yeah, I consumed a Marvel product. I liked you better when you had less stars on the wall. You're a different person now. Oh, you got a problem with my stars? Let's go. Where you want the next star to be, huh? Where do you want it, Mike? Where do you want the star? Where do you want it to go? Let's go here. I'll fix it in post. like a Marvel movie. I'll fix it in post. You got more stars, the better. I'm an all-star. Um, Florence is an A-list actor, though. If she is an A-list actor, why isn't this doing what you would want an A-list actor to do? Because she's not the lead, because it's an ensemble cast and we can't put everything on her? Maybe she's protected from criticism for that reason. Maybe Florence is B-lists. A-list is a big ask. She is absolutely A-list. Okay. Everyone tell me what actor at list she is. Put A in the live chat, B in the live chat, or C in the live chat. Is she an A-lister, B-lister, or C-lister? She's done Fighting with My Family. She's done. Does she do Don't Worry, Darling? Was she in that movie? She's done Oppenheimer. She was the love interest. She's led in Midsummer, right? She was in Dune. Is this woman an A-list actress? B as of right now. Well, she's not below a B. Like Multi-Topic Talk says it's B. It's a B. You're alone here. And sometimes being an A-lister doesn't really you can still fail. You can still have a movie that doesn't make what it's supposed to make. That's why I think A-list actors choose smaller budgets. Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, they don't really go for those big budgets. They'll go for the medium budget instead of those huge ones, and they'll always be successful. They know that they can make that money back. I love her, but she's still too young and doesn't have quite the A reputation. B-list, but there ain't no shame in that. You're right. There's no shame in that. We're clearly in the darkest timeline. I don't even know who Chillmonger is. He must be the evil multiversal Chillmonger. What should I be saying instead? Tell me, don't say that. Criticize something that I tell you, and then I can give you my counter opinion. If you think I'm being negative for the sake of negativity or anything, I'm not. I'm looking, like many times in this and in my past, I've opened a page. I've said, look, and then I've talked about it. If the Thunderbolts is only at 177 worldwide, and we are 6 days in, yeah, we're on day 6. 6 days in, they've grossed 177. I know because of patterns that 177 means you only will double your budget. 6 days. Oh, you guys don't know this stuff. See, that's what you don't know, Mike. I'm going to explain this to you. There's a pattern. We're roughly around day 5, day 6. You have made half of what your movie was ever going to make. This is so common. I got still purple on my finger. This is so common. This is a pattern that Chillmonger notices, and then he reports it to you. Your narratives are circular. No, they're not. They're fact-based. Look at this math. I'm going to go to a movie like, shoot, let's jump to Star Wars, maybe Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The movie which grossed, oh, I'm moving too fast. And I need to zoom out. It grossed $1 billion. The domestic was 532. So when did it reach its halfway point? When was the halfway point of 532? When was it at 267? Oh, day 9. Actually, it was at day 9 still. That's not exactly 6 days later. Let me find a better example. That was a hit movie. Let me just find like a normal ass movie that wasn't a hit movie. That will Okay, it's not Snow White. But Snow White is a dud, right? Domestic of 86 million. When did it reach 43? Right here on the 4th day. On the 4th day, it reached 44 million. Do you see how 44 million is half of the domestic gross of 86 million? Let's do another movie, which on its 6th day, how about The Accountant's 1, actually? Let me copy and paste that. The copy and pastes, because Chillmonger is negative, is circular narratives. This also 86 million domestic. So at what point did it reach its halfway point of 43 million? Let's look. It reached 43 million. Ooh, day 8. So when a movie's successful, it can reach day 8. Day 8, it can reach its halfway point. I think day 8 and day 9. I think I just realized something live on stream with you guys. When as Mike tells me that my narratives are circular. The rule and the pattern of the 6 movies or the 6-day things can be broken when a movie is a hit, like The Accountant, which warranted a sequel. If I choose regular ass movies, like something that The Rock was in, was Pain and Gain. Pain and Gain. If I choose a regular ass movie like that from 2013, we can see domestic release. Let's call that 50. When did it reach 25 million? Day 6. At day 6, it has reached its halfway point of movies. It fluctuates for sure. The most farther you can go is day 9, but the domestic release being half, the domestic box office gross being half, is a normal pattern for movies. Let's do I don't know, Deadpool 1. I bet you that Deadpool 1 2016 grossed 363. Half of 360 is 180. When did it reach 180 domestically? A successful movie. I bet it wasn't day 6. I bet it was day 7 maybe. Yeah, it reached 180 on day 7. 7 days later is the halfway point on a Thursday. This information which I just relayed to you, Mike, from multiple sources, and this is things I've done before from multiple movies, you can see there really literally is a halfway point that is reached by the time you get to day 6. If your movie's good, 7, 8, or 9. I don't make shit up. I report to you what has happened in the past, and then I come here and I tell you Thunderbolts is doing poorly. And I can compare it to other Marvel movies. I can compare it to other regular movies. There's nothing happening here on this stream or on this channel that is, oh, I miss the old guy. What do you mean the old guy? What did the old guy used to do? Cheer for Marvel? Chill still cheers for good quality film. I still do want good things from there. I want the best black character they've ever had. It was just T'Challa. I want a lot of success. I want actors to make money. I want superheroes to be doing so well that instead of 3 movies a year, we get 4 movies a year, because I don't think quantity is an enemy. I want 5 superhero movies a year. And when you're doing 5 a year, more chance that you're going to get these high budget films featuring melanated leads, which combats white supremacy. And this is an anti-white supremacy YouTube channel. So it sort of rewinds back to like the main goal of what this channel is, or like not the primary goal, but the underlying tone in every video that I will ever do is combating white supremacy, appreciating positive representation, asking for it, cheering it on, whether that's positive representation, like even Superman, who's a white guy. Even the message that this guy provides is awesome. It's positive, and I'm for that kind of stuff. You can't come in here, Mike. Your narratives are circular and just, no comeback. Like, hit me back with something. Multi-Topic Talk says, it's sad. I like Thunderbolts, but having 3 Marvel movies in 6 months was a huge mistake. It's only a huge mistake now. In 2019, that's not a huge mistake. That's a blessing. In 2019, we did have Thor Ragnarok in November. 3 months later, February, Black Panther. 3 months later, Avengers Infinity War. And then 3 months later, Ant-Man and the Wasp. We've done 3 months apart, and it works. I liked both, but there was a lot of backlash on Brave New World, and in general, Brave New World was a 50-50 movie. There was moments where Yelena brought it with her acting capabilities. There was funny jokes sometimes. Red Guardian, sometimes he made you laugh. They accomplished some things, right? Now, other things like the dishwasher, and that's where Bucky's arm would be. He would never put it in the dishwasher. But, it's international humor. People probably laughed at that. No matter what language you speak, that's a funny thing. I just wouldn't have done it. It wasn't consistent with the character. But, the movie had movie parts. It had, some 50-50 stuff that worked and it didn't work. You proved yourself wrong and you're moving to something that failed. Wait, so you proved yourself wrong and are moving to something that failed. You just earned an invitation link, Kenny, if you can join. Which part did I prove myself wrong? But I like that. I like that you're here. Kevin Davis, who is a real account, says something I'm not even going to read. Multi-topic talk. If we had one or two Marvel the entire year, that'd be great again since both movies would breathe and maybe people wouldn't feel fatigue. Spacing apart movies now makes sense to me. It's not that we have fatigue. I don't know how much we can put into fatigue. It's a popular word, but it doesn't really represent us. And there's probably some evidence that can show you, look, fatigue works. So, I mean, fatigue is a problem. So, Deadpool and Wolverine came out, and it was the only movie of 2024. The last time we had a movie was November. So, maybe it was 8 months apart. Now, this helps your multi topic. This helps you. You're saying there was thirst. People were waiting to see the movie, and they saw it, and they all celebrated, and Deadpool Wolverine made a whole bunch of money. You know, the fatigue issue, right? And there was no other Superman movie. I think DC had stopped making movies by then, so there was a vacancy for it. In 2021, Black Widow came in like July, Shang-Chi in September, Eternals in November, and in December, Spider-Man No Way Home came. Fatigue wasn't an issue. You can't blame fatigue because people aren't even watching the movies. They're not even watching Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals. They're not going to the movies those years. Fatigue is overstated. I concede she got $2 million for Thunderbolts. That's not A-list money, you're right. She got $2 million for Thunderbolts? If that's true, that's because during Black Widow, she was a nobody. She did the wrestling movie. She was a nobody, and they signed her for like multiple pictures. And at that point in her career, she would agree to $2 million for Thunderbolts. I think if she negotiates that movie now after her Oppenheimer appearance and some of the more like roles she gets, I don't think she gets only $2 million for Thunderbolts. The original account was successful because of Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal were both rising stars. Now they're known, but they don't generate the hype that they used to. I take that. Here comes Kevin Davis with another live chat, which I don't read because I know Kevin Davis isn't an authentic person. Chill, you speaking in the third person. Chill always does that, bro. You're at work. It's a quality issue. I think quality plays a part in some of it. Like some of the old movies weren't doing so well, and so the necessary love for Marvel is down, and so the movies don't make that much money. You're right. So that said, if Thunderbolts had good quality, which people do say it does have, if Thunderbolts is good quality, will it be felt in Fantastic Four's box office? As we learned the other day, Fantastic Four, I was talking about this on Pantheon, only grossed 333 million the first time around. In 05, where 300 million was a lot more, but in 05 it only grossed that much. How much do we really think Fantastic Four is going to make this time around? The Fan Four Stick movie grossed only less than 300 million. Fan Four Stick did terrible. Where's the audience for that? Got to be honest, I would hate having one Marvel movie a year. Yeah. 2 movies a year would be awesome. 3 movies would be so much more better. And then hopefully Superman does so well that Supergirl does well also, and then we get more DC movies also. We got Kevin Davis who writes something, and I don't read what Kevin Davis writes because I know Kevin Davis isn't really real. It's one of those accounts. Fatigue is a myth. It's a real thing for wide audiences. For wide audiences, then why isn't there a horror movie fatigue, for example? Good point. There's no such thing as superhero movie fatigue. Another one. Just like there's no such thing as horror movie fatigue or action movie fatigue. Kevin Davis now writes something. Look, I'm ignoring it again. I don't know why he keeps writing things. Isn't that proof that this is like an artificial account that's like, programmed to just say things? He's always promoting a Disney movie or something. It's like, I know my audience. I know real people from fake people like Mike. I know a real person like Mike from a fake person like Kevin. Remember when we all had Paramount Pictures fatigue, or how about TriStar Pictures fatigue? Boy, those were the days. I don't remember that at all, bro. Multi says 6 months after Deadpool and Wolverine, we got Brave New World. I think General Thunderbolts was better and better received. If they swapped Brave and Thunderbolts, both would have been more successful. You're right. That's how it would have worked. But Brave New World is still called Captain America in the title, and it's a knockoff version of Captain America. And with this knockoff style of storytelling, like they got to step away from it. I think Silver Surfer is the next knockoff where we're not going to get the real version. We're going to get a halfway version. You know what I mean? Remember when Chill used to check his DMs in the middle of a stream, bro? Here, roll comics. Here, I got you. Here, there. So I just sent it to you if you want to come in. And we can go over an hour, roll comics. We can go over an hour. We'll go 2 hours today. Jurassic Park, Superman, Megan 2, 28 years later. Fantastic Four should have been September or October. Look, timing, there's a lot of things we can do. Some of it is Monday morning quarterback, and some of these things and these criticisms Marvel doesn't deserve. What they do deserve is that they decided in 2019, this is what we're going to do. We got the rights to X-Men, but we're going to do Thunderbolts. And as a X-Men fan, as a person who likes real big characters, and I have a room for the Thunderbolts, maybe you can build to them, mention them in one movie, bring up a second time, and then by the third time, you've created the interest for it. I'm more of an X-Men guy, and I think that the Thunderbolts represents what we could be getting, and that's why you can't take any of my criticisms of the movie for real, because I came in there with a bias. I came in there with a, damn, this movie isn't exactly what I wanted, and it's actually at the expense of what I wanted. So there was such a handicap. There was such a -1 as soon as I hit play on that movie. That's how I felt. Like this movie was gonna be asked to me. I was always gonna hate the movie and what they did with the movie. You can't take my criticisms of it. And I won't give you a proper review. I won't ever tell you like I'm giving you a fair, no bias reaction to the movie. This is my reflection. I don't. Thunderbolts is at me. I won't ever tell you like I'm giving you a fair. It's an American time. Kenny says, I think Fantastic Four should have been in October. I agree, especially since we're all be going from July to May. No Marvel movie. Is there gonna be a DC movie? Nah, there won't be. Superman comes out in July, and then we get nothing. We'll talk about Peacemaker in a second. Mike, tell me why I'm so bad and like all these problems. That what did I say to trigger you?
Unsubscribed. A, I'm just messing, but B, you are. I don't know. You're buying into these narratives that people put forward on the internet. Basically,
so you can't say that. You can't say I'm buying.
You can, because back in the day,
I'll tell you why you can't say I'm buying a narrative from the internet. I literally go to the Box Office Mojo, show you something, talk about it. I indicate to you that it is completely my narrative, and it's not some video that I watched or some chatter that I'm getting.
I'm going to quote Mr. Kenny Spears, who is the Chill member, who still has his Chill member, unlike me for some reason. But he said, "quote
I watched." Stop doing that, Mike. You got to stop doing that. You are a channel member of this channel. If you pay $1, I don't go and I don't eliminate my family. Like that joke is played.
It's a conspiracy.
You keep saying it like it's real.
It's a conspiracy.
You are a channel member if you do the pay or if you have auto renew on like that. If you're not a channel member, it's not because I deleted you, Mike. Like don't say that. You've said it so many times. Let me actually check you on it. Stop saying that. Go ahead.
You took it away. Stop it. I watched the movie from the perspective of I'm here to see a movie. Hopefully, it's good. That's how you watch movies, okay?
Yes, you should.
So you can sit there and you can say, oh, well, on this day it did $4.32, but the day after it did whatever. That doesn't say anything about the quality of the movie.
When have I ever told you the opposite of that? Of course, I believe that. I'm with you.
I'm sorry. I'm not just speaking directly about you. I'm talking about the narrative.
No, I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna host a conversation about your gripes. Why am I hosting a conversation about your gripes with other people? Talk to me. You said something about me. Like so give me your criticism. I didn't invite you to talk about so and so.
Your criticism. Okay, you watched the Thunderbolts, correct?
On my computer, I watched the Thunderbolts.
Okay, so you contributed to it making $8 less, correct? Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
You put forward the notion that these movies, what were you saying? They needed to have better actors. Like I couldn't. There was a crisscrossing between what I was reading in the chat and then what you were saying, as far as the characters. Like what there needed to be A-list characters or A-list actors playing B or C-list characters. Like I don't know exactly which is what was the thing that you were
okay,
saying, contrasting with what the chat was saying.
I think I was agreeing with the chat member who said the no, I was disagreeing. So I don't think you need A-list actors. I also don't think Florence Pugh was an A-list actor. I think
Well,
that the
she's an
character
A-list actor for an independent movie. Like for like a blockbuster movie, I
she's
don't
not.
think she's at that Meg Ryan, like Julia Roberts level yet.
Yeah, so
But
she's not.
for an A24 movie, yes, definitely.
Shout out to the love from Fatal J saying I'm going live every day. It will pay off with the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, I will, because all the watch time and the 18 people who are here right now, they're more likely to 19 people now. We're more likely to see me, and yeah, watch time is good. I hate that. I don't like making myself. I don't like hoeing myself out. I like only hitting record when I got something to say. But thank you for that love, Fatal J. The A-list problem is
Mhm.
the characters are the A-listers. Superman is the A-lister. David Cornsweet.
Correct.
It could have been anybody. And I'm glad it was David Cornsweet, who is more likely to sign for something economical, and they can go a
Wait,
long
so
time.
would you have rather had? Okay, do you feel the success? Like, if it doesn't succeed, do you think it'll be the fault of the actor because
No,
he's not an A-list actor?
no, he looks like Superman. It's not his fault.
Okay, so anybody can play a character. It doesn't matter.
But the character matters. But yes, anybody can play the characters.
Well, what do you mean
Superman,
by the character
Batman,
matters? So, like, you're saying all these characters that we had in the Thunderbolts aren't worthy of a movie.
precisely. And
So then
that's
they should have maybe a TV show.
no. Look, they can have a movie, but build it up.
But
You
well, okay, so are you saying that they should do what Marvel used to do and did for
yeah.
Agatha all along, where they backdoor characters into big movies? Like
I,
Hawkeye was in Thor, Black
you
Widow
lost
was in.
me with Agatha all along. So I
Well,
don't want
because
what happened with Agatha.
Agatha backdoored. Well, I'm telling you, Thor backdoored Hawkeye. That was his first appearance. Black
Yeah.
Widow was in Iron Man. Black Panther and Spider-Man were in Civil War.
Yes.
And Agatha had Billy, who, if he's going to factor into Young Avengers or Champions or whatever they're calling it, that's where he
Okay.
first appeared.
Yeah, and so there was a point in time where the Black Panther wasn't this Black Panther. It was like, what? And yes, putting him in
Right.
Civil War and introducing him there 2 years before his own movie helped it out. So
Mhm.
that example, Spider-Man, not so much. He didn't need it, but yes, with Black Panther, do more of that stuff, and maybe there would have been. I could justify a Thunderbolts movie as like taking
Okay,
place.
but they've already. Okay, so Ghost was in Ant-Man and Wasp. Yelena was in
7
Black
years
Widow
ago.
and Hawkeye.
Yeah,
John Walker was in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
4 years ago for Black
Taskmaster.
Widow. 4 years ago was
But
Falcon.
but again, you can't keep moving the goalposts. Like,
No,
either.
I'm not. Okay, listen, I'm not moving the goalpost because I didn't happen to mention that it's got to be in a timely manner. Also, I did basically say that when I said Black Panther was in 2016, and 2 years later he had his own movie, and when I said that, I didn't move the goalpost. I'm adding something, a variable in which we didn't calculate before. Yes, Black Panther came out 2 years later. It was a timely manner, and it was building to Infinity War. So it didn't happen with this movie Thunderbolts, where the last time we saw a lot of these guys was 4 years back, or for Ghost it was 7 years back. It's not like I moved something. It's like it's a true thing that is there, that is
No,
worthy of bringing up.
well, you did, because you said that initially, like, it would be good. It would be behoove Marvel to introduce these secondary characters into a major franchise before giving them a potential solo project, whatever it might be. So then I say, okay, so, like, Hawkeye and Thor and Black Widow and whatever. And he said, yeah. And then I said, okay, so, like, Ghost was in Ant-Man and Wasp, whatever. And then he said, no, it has to be in a timely fashion. So, but
So
you
it
didn't
feels
say
like
that.
I added that to
But you
the
can't.
mix.
That's that. But you're, again, like I said, you're moving the goal because you're throwing
No,
conditions
it's
on it
but
now.
I
Next, you're going
didn't
to say it
give you
has to
my
be
I
like.
didn't give you my position like 12 paragraphs structured, and now I and then I added something later on. That was always there. It does need to be in a timely manner. It was understood to be there. If I have to say it to you to show you why this is different, then
Well, Thor was what, 2009, right?
2011.
2011. Is that late? I thought it was like a year after.
Roughly.
No. This matters. You can't be like whatever. It's like it's gotta.
The movie was over a decade ago, so whether it was 09 or 2011.
Oh no, it was. See, but
okay, I don't know what point you're making. Yes.
Oh well, I'll get to it. Yeah. Okay, 2011. Okay,
oh, so Joe was right. Wow.
Avengers was 2012.
Timely manner. He's so quiet.
Oh, I'm quiet because I'm gathering facts. I don't sit here, even though, I mean, if you want to talk comic books,
gather facts. Do that, because if you gather facts, then you won't say something like Thor was in 2009.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Mike. Iron Man 2. No, you're getting confrontational now, so I can do that too. Let's see. Iron Man 2 was 2010. Okay, yeah. Avengers was 2012. That's 2 years.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and we also didn't have a global pandemic when they were doing this stuff.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Okay, and they also didn't have TV shows at this time when we were doing like hey, we're going to put them in Iron Man 2, and then 2 years later we're going to have it in Avengers, because they were planning more without the benefit of TV. Now I agree that they've Moon Knight and all that stuff, or the thing that some people call this out for, they didn't address the Eternals in anything since it's been 4 years. But if you look at the things that they've had in between those times, they did do a little thing about it in She-Hulk. It was on the thing of a newspaper. Yeah, but whatever. I mean, I don't want to see something about the Eternals in She-Hulk. They did what I would have wanted them to do, where they had it as a thing that, I noticed that Easter egg because I'm a Marvel Comics fan. So I saw that, there's a giant hand sticking out of the ground or whatever like that. I know what they're talking about. They're talking about the Eternals. And if this was a movie that was so, universally trash based on the box office, which is a narrative that you were putting forward, then nobody would care except you and me.
The box office is very important because
I guess to you,
because if a movie doesn't do well, the franchise doesn't do well, and we'll get less superhero movies.
Mm-hmm. And people will use that to justify. Yes, like you were saying about if this doesn't do well, then maybe something will happen with Blade where we won't get it. I don't necessarily disagree with that, because people will always use things as an excuse. This is what everything is based on. You can't sit there and say things like,
say things. I'm sitting here. I'm saying things.
Stop it. Don't get me started on the stars again, because I will. You were nicer with less stars, bro. That's all I'm saying.
The movies were doing weller with less stars. T'Challa was alive with less stars. What are we talking about?
No. See, now you're trying to reframe the narrative. It's just
I was nicer when I had less stars. I'm not saying anything mean. Am I insulting Kevin Feige? Did I call him out of his name?
Are you insulting Kevin? KKK Feige? KKK? Oh, you say KKK Feige? KKK Kevin?
What do you mean?
Wait, you're right. What are you talking about?
You're right. I have insulted Kevin Feige, but I've given him the moniker based off his actions. Killing the greatest black character, being the T'Challa Slayer, and then no Blade, and then I seen the way you handle Jonathan Majors. I'm looking at all of your infractions.
Jonathan, wait. See, I'm always going to push, at least I can't speak to the other things, but at least from what I saw with Jonathan Majors, everybody dropped his ass when everything was released. Marvel was the only company that stuck with him until once the verdict came out. Then they dropped him like a hot potato. But up until then, he was gainfully employed by Marvel Comics or Marvel Pictures or Marvel whatever. Okay. It wasn't until the verdict was read, which is more grace than his own team gave him, his own management gave him. So don't say that like the Jonathan Major situation, because they waited. They waited for the verdict.
So I don't want to go 5-10 minutes on Jonathan Majors.
Well, I mean, these are
the risk of saying something right now. We're gonna go 5-10 minutes on Jonathan Majors. I just want to say that Robert Downey has spoken, Russos have spoken in interviews. It's clear that the shift from making Avengers Doomsday to Avengers Kang Dynasty, or other way around,
right, reverse, yeah.
The shift happened before the verdict of Jonathan Majors.
Oh yeah, you're saying what you're saying they weren't trying to prepare for whatever the worst case scenario would be, depending on what the verdict was going to be.
No, it
It's not
wasn't
like they. It's not
prepared.
like it's not like they didn't sit there and say, "Oh yeah, you know what? We're going to wait to the verdict to decide what we're going to do narratively before." Come on, dude.
All right,
Stop.
voice of reason. I got you. I'm not doing a Jonathan Majors fight today. You know what I will fight about him though is that there was like an audio that came out on Rolling Stone, and many content creators. See, you like that one, Mike? Content creators. Many content creators were running with this audio, and they wouldn't cover how CNN tried to authenticate the audio from Rolling Stone, and they couldn't report on it. They could not report that this is a valid piece of audio. They were not given it. They were just unable to authenticate the audio. I will never stop making comic book movies. They will never stop making comic book movies. Two things can be true. He wrote that 2 minutes ago. I forget what we were talking about. Box office can also be weaponized. I've seen that happen before. How many classic movies flopped at the box office? Again, it was not had anything to do about quality, and this is more so about financial realities. Can Marvel stop it with these C-rate? Let me get rid of Mike. Actually, he's got a customer. So Mike's got a comic book shop in Bridgeport, Connecticut. He is there right now, and so when customers come every now and again, he's got a dip. We appreciate his time that he spends with us, but real life comes first. So it's the best of both worlds. It's very much of a privilege that I have Mike on my team, who always can come in and do things like what we just had right now. Marvel, can they stop it with the C-rate projects? Yeah. One, T'Challa was Nate Moore and Ryan. Kevin Feige is in charge. He's the T'Challa Slayer. If Nate Moore and Ryan were a problem, you can say, okay, Nate and Ryan, you're unable doing Black Panther. You're unable to do Black Panther without the Black Panther. Well, you won't have Black Panther anymore. I got paint on that. Number two, Blade is a collective of people problems. You're giving him too much. And then Jonathan Majors made his own bed. The driver of the Jonathan Majors Stephanie McMahon car says that she was doing everything and he was doing nothing. She herself on trial, like she was there and she was testifying. She said, I saw a message on his phone and I grabbed it and it said, I wish you could be kissing you. And I hit him in the face. I've seen pictures of Jonathan Majors' face being scratched up. He exited the situation like a good man should. Slept at the hotel the next night. She sent suicidal messages. He was worried. He runs upstairs. She's like sending WhatsApp messages, we learned, but she played dead basically when he got upstairs. And he had to call 911 for her, so he dialed 911. And it's only then where we saw injuries on her. She had a finger injury. She had a ear laceration. Everything that Jonathan Majors did was the right thing to do. Oh, gotta call 911. Gotta get her medical attention, right? And I got an alibi. I was at the hotel. Everything was fine. We find out where she was that night. All night she was at the club for like 3 hours, dancing her night away, using the finger like it's perfectly fine to like click on an elevator button and go through her bags. She's holding two phones with her a finger that's supposed to be broken by Jonathan Majors hours earlier. We have enough evidence where we can't say that Jonathan Majors made his own bed. We've seen police officers who were visiting, or not visiting, but like dispatched, and they were telling here, you see it there? She was on the floor and he's choking himself. He's like, say that he strangled you. Say that he strangled you. I'm going to zoom in a second. It'll zoom back in. And you can see him go, miming, you have to charge him with strangulation. And the very next, that day, he was charged with that charge. I wouldn't say what you just said about Jonathan Majors. He was guilty of snow bunny hopping, which has made him like a very endearing figure. He's kind of popular. I said last week on Pantheon, I said he was Emmett Till, except he's alive to tell the story. I know the differences. I appreciate every difference between Emmett Till's death and Jonathan Majors' conviction, but he is somewhat of cautionary tale. He's someone that we can look to and root for. So his next go around with an actual movie, action movie, not a artsy fartsy movie, magazine dreams about a guy who's got a mental condition and depression and going through. Not that. It's just, I think it's called Pure Threat. He's going to be an action star. Yeah, that will. He can promote that and he can make a little bit of money. And Charlemagne will promote it too. I blame all three for T'Challa, but yes, the buck stocks with Kevin Feige. Yeah, all three can get it. Kevin Feige, Nate Moore. When it comes to the T'Challa thing, it's like three people are responsible for killing the greatest black character that's ever happened in honor of Chadwick Boseman. What did Kevin Feige say? Where is it?
His portrayal of T'Challa the Black Panther is iconic and transcends any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that reason that we will not
recast the character. If he's the face and the first person we heard say it, he's in charge of the studio. They ran it by him and he went, yeah, you're right. We should kill T'Challa. Not, hey, let's do a movie that takes place during the blip. Everyone will be sad T'Challa's gone. But, he's not really gone, right? He's going to hold that blame. Deservedly. We have to be accountable for our own actions. I know it sucks, but he got fired for his choices. Okay, Lawrence. What are you accusing Jonathan Majors of doing? Or what choice, what is his action that you believe he needs to be accountable for? Be specific. What exactly did he do that he did that he deserves, you know what I mean? I have the Watcher says he needs to sue the police department and the officer. And Dr. Umar was happy that he got a black woman afterward. It'll be okay. It'll take time. Answer my question, Lawrence, about what exactly he did. Because you said he needs to be accountable, right? For his choices. Umar is anti-serious. We say listen to the black people in the room. And when Kevin does, he's cook a Kevin Feige. Yeah. You know what, Kenny? I have to respect that take, bro. I have to respect that because he was there in the room. He still made a terrible business decision. And he still does have a pattern of using like a knockoff version. So Shuri will work. We can just mantle swap. It's easy. He still has to hold that. Because if it was Superman, and imagine him running the Superman studio and they tell him, man, we just lost our Superman actor. Well, Superman can have a son, we can make this movie about Supergirl. But in the end, we put the movie's going to have a son, right? And we're going to call him Clark. His Kryptonian name will be like Kal-El or Val-El or V. Clark, Yeah, we can do that. Kevin Feige would never okay this. So it is still on him. Yeah, he listened to Nathan. He listened to Ryan. I can't take away that. But when you listen to someone who makes a bad decision, you're part of the decision and you're part of the three-headed monster who killed T'Challa off of an emotional impulse. And then you gave the explanation. He just did so much of a good job. And then you've recast it for Thunderbolt Ross. You've recast it for every other time somebody dies. You've done recasting. If there was a contract dispute, you've done recasting. The whole Disney studio does recasting, but not for him, not for T'Challa. You act like the celebrities are having sex with you. Worry about your own dicks, for real, for real. The significance of him is precedents being set. He's only, I think, I know he's only being treated the way he's being treated because of his skin color. That's why the cop did what he did. That's why he was able to go down without proof. That's why the showmonger is Umar Jr. Y'all act like these celebrities are having sex. It's not. I don't care about people, individuals that much, but what they represent with the skin that they wear, these human beings, has major, more than just they themselves, ramifications on the world. Lawrence says that he was charged with a misdemeanor. So Lawrence, it sounds like, when I asked you what was his action, what did he do? It sounds like you're hiding behind what the legal system decided, which is a flawed 6-people jury, which split the verdict, which went against the facts. I'm not asking what I saw happen in a courtroom because I'm aware of what the verdict was. I was asking you, Lawrence, of what you believe he should be accountable for. We have to be accountable for our own actions. I know it sucks, but he got fired for his choices. So the question isn't what actually happened. Well, the court. I don't want you to tell me what the court. I want you to tell me what action he committed and not what you think he committed, not what the court decided he committed. I want you, Lawrence, to stand behind a position of what choice did Jonathan Majors make? What was the action he did? Majors was guilty of not getting a good lawyer at the end. Armchair quarterback, Monday morning quarterback, yeah. Because he lost. A different strategy would have resulted in a positive outcome, bro. Maybe he shouldn't have waited. Maybe he should have waited for all the evidence to drop, and then we can piece it together and we can do it all the day of the trial. Then all those jury members who are not sequestered get to go online and get to see how everyone reacts to how he walks by her. She reaches out for him, and he goes, "No." The video of him running and everything. Maybe it didn't matter. It didn't matter. What? Because the jury was deselected on purpose to not include black people, black men, technically. Chi-Town says, why do you guys not bring up the fact that father from Ms. Marvel was sending nude pics to an underage girl? Because I'm talking about Jonathan Majors instead of talking about other people. It doesn't mean that I want to protect his, what's his name? Momar? Whatever his name was. Mohan Kapoor. It's just, it's irrelevant to the Jonathan Majors situation. Not irrelevant, but it's not the angle I'm going. I'd rather stick it to the facts and not make comparisons and welcome other cases. I'd rather just talk about one thing. That's why. But sure, he is allegedly, Mohan Kapoor, was involved in a underage, what do you call it? Picture. And when that news broke out, we covered it. Me and K-Dot were talking about it on this channel or on his channel, one of us, but we talked about it. And then I said, this is going to be easy to prove. All you got to do is look at his phone, like the text message that he sent her. She's just got to say, look, this is his phone number. And he'd be able to prove it. And that was it. And then I said, maybe I said it a year later, but I'm like, hey, why didn't they just look at his phone, look at the girl's phone, get his phone number, and just prove that he did it or not? So it's still an allegation from now. What's up, show? What's good, y'all? Superman does have a son, Jonathan. Yeah. And now imagine if the son was made to be the lead of the movie franchise for the next 10 years. Miles. We ourselves had a great video about why they're not using T'Challa main. Yeah, I've probably seen it. I don't agree with the verdict, but it is what it is. Then Lawrence, if you don't agree with the verdict, it sounds like you're backpedaling from we have to be accountable for our own actions. I know it sucks, but he got fired for his choices. And then we jump over a few minutes until where you get to, I don't agree with the verdict, but it is what it is. Chi-Town says, show us your last 3 exes, bruh. Exes? You mean like people I used to date? I'm not sure exactly what you're trying to say. Culture Made channel. If y'all talking about Majors, he placed her back in the car and ran should be a crime. They better be blacker than that mic you're speaking into. He got here we go. He got charged for stalking the text messages and injuring her, even if it was on purpose. Sucks, but that is what it is. Lawrence, again, you were hiding behind what happened, what charges were, and what they blamed him for. I didn't ask you what the jury decided. I asked you to stand on a position, and you're not, to this, like the 4th time, you're not actually saying, I believe Jonathan Majors injured this woman or said an action. They didn't even need to take this public. He could have settled. They didn't offer him a plea bargain or anything like that. Was he? I never had that. Lovecraft Country was dope. Jonathan will never be Superman. He'd be Val Zod, maybe. No Shot Chill hooks up with white girls. Don't say that. Figure drawing. Don't say that. Don't think of me as a person who, all this outside of this chair and this wall and everything. That's what I give you guys. I don't welcome my dating life, my personal life. Like I try not to do that on my channel or on anyone's channel or on my Instagram or on my anything. Okay. You know what we should end on, since Mike is away and he's got a couple customers he just mentioned to me on the side. I'm going to show you something from Peacemaker. Peacemaker had a trailer recently. Let's go to this view and let's go to YouTube Peacemaker. And I want to talk about the universe ramifications of season 2 of Peacemaker.
They're going to be doing
spoilers for the Peacemaker trailer. They're going to no, let's not do that. Let's just skip to this part. John Cena is playing Peacemaker on the left, and I believe that is the Peacemaker we saw for season 1. I think that the dude on the right side, right over there, I think that's the DCU version of Peacemaker. And so John Cena gets to keep a job and he gets to continue playing the character. So the real life stuff is taken care of. No one's really hurt by that, by this universe shifting thing. It feels to me that this guy is different than this guy up here. That's how they're going to cover the new universe that James Gunn is starting. So we were always confused. This is stupid. They're saying Peacemaker is canon. It's not canon in season 1, but it is canon in season 2. However, will they do this? The most of Peacemaker season 1 and most of Peacemaker, I guess, season 2 will take place in the former universe. It appears to me that a version of Peacemaker from DCU will join the main universe, and it's the one who, in the beginning of this trailer, was arrested, and he was chatting with Hawkgirl.
Peacemaker.
So this Peacemaker, in this red outfit that we see here, is the same dude, I think, confronting season 1 Peacemaker here. He's the same outfit. This guy is from the universe of the DCU, which has Guy Gardner, which has Hawkgirl, which has James Gunn's brother Sean. Awesome. Great. We can get some closure from the DCEU, the way that James Gunn is going to decide to do it. Maybe Zack Snyder gets to have it a input too. It's perfect because we're in the halfway point between two universes. So far, we only have Creatures Commandos, but saying goodbye to the DCEU in this manner is an awesome way to do it. I can't speak highly enough of it, and it reminds me that James Gunn is a creative genius. Now, what he says and how he talks is stupid. Oh, well, we don't greenlight until we have a full script. But then remember what you said in January when you said Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters? You had a lot of things greenlit without a script. And then Sergeant Rock was canceled. But why was it greenlit then if there was no script? And then Clayface, which we find out, yeah, he had a script and he scrapped the script. Like, why do we know about it? He talks too much and he's mismanaging the PR. It doesn't mean he's a bad creative guy, and he knows what he's doing. And so this is a great integration of the prior universe with the current universe. I love it. Perp says that Peacemaker is fire. Smart man. Sorry, bro. Had to do it. No offense. Chill. What? Snow Bunny Crisis? You kill me. Perp says he can't wait. I'm more interested in this than I am in season 1 of Peacemaker. This is great. There's long-term plans. There's James Gunn, who's a creative genius behind everything in DC. Unlike before, Walter Hamada, we have to trust on his connected. We have to trust that The Rock knew what he was doing. this new version of DC is killer. If the monkey rumor is true about Soupsy stripping, the monkey rumor could be true, and it could also be 1 minute of the 2-hour movie. Got to see how it works out. I don't want to overhype DC because I haven't seen the Superman movie yet, but I'm saying that there's light there. They can be neck and neck with Marvel Studios. Not all the Marvel Studios. DC will never touch what Marvel will very unlikely touch what Marvel is able to do. Okay, especially if James Gunn's going to be too busy directing certain movies. Step off the director's chair. You're not directing anymore. Have fun with Superman, but now you actually have to manage things. I don't want to hear excuses like, I just got spread too thin or whatever they use for Kevin Feige. Mike is back. Yo.
Hey, okay.
Did you see The Peacemaker? Give me your take on that.
I did see the trailer. I saw it once. And hey, he made me care about John Cena in the first one, so you know what? I'm going back for seconds. But I did hear about without that music. Oh, and also, you know what? I have to say I'm kind of disappointed at yesterday's stream that you were doing with Darius, and because you said something, you asked Darius a question, and then like he answered it or whatever, and then you're like, it doesn't matter what you say or something like that. And I put a comment in there setting you up. I even put the final Chillmonger, giving you your wrestling connection, and you didn't even read it. But it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and I remember what I said. I said that it doesn't matter. That Darius likes the movie, and he's talking about how and it's good quality, but it doesn't. That doesn't matter. Not his opinion doesn't matter, but
no, I wasn't. No, there wasn't any. I wasn't even saying like you trash him. I just heard The Rock. That's all. The final Rock.
I saw it. But what I'm gonna do is stop the show to click on one of the live chats.
Well, I remember.
When I remember when I used now, I'm talking to you alone. And when you're here, I can't really stop to go and look at everyone's. And
well, no, see, but you do that. See, because I remember somebody critiquing me when I would do live streams where I was actually engaged in Mortal Kombat with various 7 to 9-year-olds, and then you would say, "Oh, well, you don't even look at the chat or whatever," and I wouldn't even acknowledge the chat, and that's true, but. Now, I mean, at least what you would do is you would do exactly what you just did now with those 2 comments. You wouldn't sit there, oh, hold on, I got to read it. Exactly. You would show them as an acknowledgement that, yes, they sent a chat, so you're going to.
Give a gold star. I see you, buddy. What's the point if I don't read it?
This is all about participation credit, yo.
No, it's not participation.
No, it is. No, it is.
Speak as a YouTube user. If I write a comment, I hope that it gets read. And I know there's no guarantee. No. Chill members, they get their comments read with a high percentage, high priority rate. But a regular person who's writing a comment, if I know that I'm on your channel, I write a comment and you just clicked on it like this, and then I would go, as a person who wrote the comment, that was worthless. That wasn't
no, but I'm talking about the Chillmonger that isn't from the Darkest Timeline. Like he would actually do what you would acknowledge it. You wouldn't be like, you wouldn't stop the show and like, no, I got to read this first, unless it was a super chat, like most channels do. But no, at least even the ones that you wouldn't like read out loud, you would acknowledge like whether it was something, or if there was something that you would able to give a visual cue to, you would do that. Like the old show, just showing it would be the acknowledgement.
Maybe because the old Chillmonger used to only have 6 people in the live chat, and current Chillmonger gets multiple more people in his live chat, where he can't just simply stop and take away the by clicking on all of these people's words. Okay, why you telling? When you get 6,000 subscribers, Mike, you can tell me how.
You're letting all this, dude. First the stars behind you, now you're letting all this go to your head, bro.
I should put 6,000.
I think I saw Perp commented. We got to bring him back down to earth, dude, because this is you're becoming like what? You're becoming Hollywood Chillmonger now. Is that what's going on here?
There's so many more people with more subs than I have. There's people going live right now talking about Marvel and DC who are doing
the same old things over and over again. Yes, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
blah,
as a guy who does daily streams now, saying the same thing over and over again is that's the enemy, bro. That you don't want to ever become that. You want to be able to.
They do all the time.
I know. I'm getting there though. How many times did I bring up T'Challa like a few times during this conversation? Some of it was warranted, and some of it was asked by participation, not you from the live chat. Some of it was from that, but also.
I kind of also helped it along by bringing up the Jonathan Majors thing, or I think you brought it. You said what they did, John, and I just expounded on. I could have just let it pass.
And Jonathan Majors is another one of my go-to things, but. At the same time, it was when Lawrence was writing stuff about Jonathan Majors. Lovecraft was dope. I know Jonathan Majors is a stuntman. Does Jonathan Major's stuntman tell you that Jonathan is accountable for his own actions? Does Jonathan Major's stuntman besmirch him when he's not listening? I wonder.
Well, see, accountable for his own actions. I mean, we have his actions on video, at least of that particular evening. So
what are you
judging
accusing him of
everything
doing?
on that. Yeah,
What are you accusing him of doing?
Dude, wait, what are you talking about? No, I'm 100% what you say. Like,
understood.
It's there. We've discussed this. What are you talking about? I'm just talking about as far as like Marvel's concerned, like, with the thing that they at least waiting until, then not dropping them the day it was announced, like his management and all that,
Got to give them points for that. On the show the other day, I was talking about how Jonathan Majors is kind of like he needs to did I say unchain himself? I probably didn't say that, but he needs to take off the restrictions of his.
Maybe there's like an NDA or something like that, or something you can't, a gag order or something. I mean, they do those things.
There is, but he was getting interviewed by one of his friends on a channel for like workout people, and in the interview, he actually
I feel like one of the hardest things to do in an office is translate what you actually want to say. Here's an example.
Welcome back to the One Gen podcast.
Right.
I love
not this
looking
one
for striations and strength and
but there was an interview where he was just sitting on his couch on a podcast with like a workout buddy, and he was like, I can speak to you guys because we're all friends, right? We're all homies. So the way they drug my name in the mud, like when he was talking on that interview, I actually thought like this could be the one. This is the one. I thought like he could have done this all the time. Bodybuilding.
Came out, you want a prestigious an actor. Do you
think about it? Think about those things. If I hit the press, so I appreciate the love, but I'm a part of the academy, and I can tell you right now, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do it. You know what I mean? What a beautiful space to be in when that was never my objective. You know what I mean? Imagine the heartache if it had been like, oh damn. You know what I mean? Do I love hearing people talk about it?
You see the way he's talking?
Whoa, Jay, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because guess what? It's out there now. And now to the end of time, or until AI completely rewrites all our shit, right?
He doesn't care about the academy.
Right. And come April, right? First week of April, it'll be on video on demand. So if you don't want to go out and support Jonathan Majors publicly, you can do it privately. You know what I mean? But you're not supporting me, you're supporting a movie.
Where was this?
You're supporting art, So I don't want to talk too hard about it, but I just gotta be.
Well, it's because homies,
right? So let's just talk straight. Well, I love
the audience that he's around. Like, you know what I mean? Like you talk differently depending on where you are. And that's I hear that's also like what the code. What is it? Code, like code talker or code something like that or something like that. Is that code? Yeah, I think that's what it's called. So that you have that other layer of it too, but people act differently depending on the audience that they're around.
As you were talking, he just brought that part up.
Okay. For the picture, absolutely. I mean, we're homies, right? So let's just talk straight. Will I love that? For the picture, absolutely. But I don't need it. You know what I mean? It's gonna get me another job someplace. Yeah, but maybe not. You know what I mean? Maybe not.
The character of Killian Maddox is very iconic.
There's another part in this where he actually does say, you guys saw the media drug me in the mud and they tried to hurt me, and we're homies. And he did it again. So that version of Jonathan Majors, like, that's awesome. Like that, do that. Go on the red carpet. Don't be tiptoeing. Don't worry. And maybe Rolling Stone doing what they did on that Monday before the movie affected the way he was able to advertise himself. And he would
we've discussed this before. I've been on streams where, some of the streams where you've talked about it, and my feelings are similar to yours. However, the past that they tried introducing or bringing up or whatever, with the other instances and stuff like that, is that, no, I wouldn't say troubling, but is it like, does it like speak to, because in this instance, you're talking about this particular instance right here, nothing else. But I know that, like, prosecutors or defendants or whatever, they bring up like, past instances leading to like, oh, see, this is how this is possible. But when you have something like this, where everything is shown on video, I don't understand how your eyes can see something different. But does that lead into a thing that, there might be something to it in the other instances at least? Or, because at least speaking to this does show that, he got railroaded.
And he doesn't act like, I have to be atonable for my sin and then I got to work my way up. He never does that in this interview. And other times it does feel like he's like, I'm doing the work. And this was like a straight up, No, I'm not gonna pretend like I was someone who did something wrong and now I deserve these are my comeuppance in this interview.
Mm.
He did one with Cam Newton and they are friends. Yes, yes. It wasn't that revealing, to be honest. It was just a regular old interview, and it came like 2 weeks after the movie released. It was too late. Like the movie wasn't even in theaters anymore, unfortunately.
Well, but then again, I mean, it also is a it was about bodybuilding, like, you know,
This one here that I just played.
the one he was talking, the what was it, magazine.
Oh yeah, the film was about bodybuilding. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like a niche thing, kind of like doing what was it? What was the movie they did with the dude from The Bear, the wrestling, like the family, the hell was it?
Fighting with my family.
No.
Iron
But
Claw.
no, it was, thank you. Yes, that was
Iron
it.
Claw.
Yeah, like that. I mean, you know, you wouldn't expect that big of an audience to go see, you know, no. So, yeah. So, I mean, in addition, you can say it was, because of my controversy or whatever, or my court case or something like that. But, I mean, yeah, you might get some women, like the Hemsworth. I call it the Hemsworth effect. Like, they might want to see him, like, with his shirt off and all that other stuff, and his pants off too. So you might want to get that, but after a while, I mean, 2 hours of that, really, you gotta have a good story. So.
Oh look, it's Kevin Davis who writes a comment with broken English. He says, "Jonathan Majors messed it up his own career." Is Disney in the same bed as Jonathan Majors? No. What did Kevin Davis do? He chose to use his time to write a fake name called Kevin Davis, to make an account, and to write a comment bad-mouthing Jonathan Majors. Thanks, Kevin Davis, you real person, you authentic member of the Chillmonger community.
So wait, I didn't hear this because I think I missed. I missed the beginning of the stream. But did you like Thunderbolts?
I said that. No, the answer is no.
You didn't like Thunderbolts. No. I'm not talking about the box office gross. I'm not talking about the.
I could.
Did you, as a 2-hour movie?
I got to prove a point, Kenny. As a 2-hour movie, I did not enjoy myself. No, because
why?
Because already I had the bias of this isn't the X-Men and this is the reason why we're not getting X-Men. And then there was also that I don't care about lesser versions.
Wait. This is
I know you're going to tell me. I know the comebacks for everything you're going to tell me about the X-Men. It's not the X-Men. It's coming at the cost of X-Men. Just accept that. But the next thing is that this movie happening with these characters who are lesser versions of the original characters, I will always look down on. I don't appreciate those. I also know that they have ceilings. I don't want to invest in my time or my resources or anything into characters who I know aren't here to stay, and they're not going to be relevant to the overall multiversal incursions plot. So no, I couldn't enjoy Thunderbolts for just off of it existing, even before I even saw a movie and they press play. Even if some jokes were funny, and even if some of the plot and the action fighting was awesome, and Bucky on the motorcycle was great, even when that is the case, there were cool moments in there. I still didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Wow.
7.5. Look, Thunderbolts is overrated. But then rate it.
Overrated?
Rate Thunderbolts. Let's see what it's overrated as.
Wait, I didn't know it was at higher. Like, what? Like, overrated compared to what?
Let us know. Culture Made channel, let us know. It doesn't matter that you didn't like it. Can you understand why others did? It doesn't matter that you didn't like it. Can you understand why others did? To ask me the question that can I understand what others did, it's as if I said something that made it sound like I don't understand why people like it. I've never had I don't feel that way. I don't feel like other people are not allowed to like Thunderbolts. I can talk about my preferences, and that doesn't challenge other people having, like, even asking the question. I feel I'm offended by it. See, I'm offended. This is what matters ultimately. No, what ultimately matters is a box office success. And what ultimately matters to me is my experience with movies. And this is the Chillmonger channel where I hit live and I talk to you about how I feel about movies. Everything more. Sorry. But that matters. My opinion matters on the Chillmonger channel. And then the box office matters to the general, to everyone, to everything. I do talk about things that matters. Your opinion, figure drawing, on the figure drawing YouTube channel matters there too.
Yeah, you should have flipped it because you said the box office matters, and then what you think about it. But no, it should always be about what you think about it. Screw the freaking box office, dude.
I
Box
can't ignore
office.
the effects.
No, the box office matters as far as maybe getting a sequel or something
Yes,
like that.
so it matters.
But dude,
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
no, dude, no, you were right with the second one.
I was
Just
right with
stick
all
with
of
the
them.
second one. No, you were right with the second one, dude, because if you keep looking at it through that prism, you're never going to enjoy anything. You're going to become some of these like these soulless grifters on here that just want to sit there and bellyache about things. Stop it.
I
Don't do
enjoyed
that.
watching Forever. The
You
first
can be
two
there
episodes.
and you can be there and you could point out the facts. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're letting all of this cloud your enjoyment of something. I don't go into something with like, oh my God, how is this going to connect to this? And how is this going to connect to that? I talk to you about it, but when I go to see it, I just shut my brain off and I enjoy whatever the filmmaker and whatever the actors are going to do.
10 minutes ago, I think you were away still, and I talked to you
Yes.
about the connection of Peacemaker and how I enjoyed it. You
No, I
you
didn't.
can't have
I didn't.
selective.
I didn't. I was helping the customer. I saw you. I saw on the screen. I saw that Peacemaker was on there, but I didn't hear what you were saying.
So I consistently appreciate connectivity and effort being done by
Mhm.
creatives like James Gunn seems to be doing here with Peacemaker.
Mhm.
I enjoyed other things like I watched WrestleMania and I enjoyed that for the most part, even though it was a lackluster WrestleMania, but there were good matches. I enjoyed
Mhm.
watching on Netflix Forever. 2 episodes came in and there's 8 of them. The 2
Who?
episodes I watched,
What is
whew,
it? Forever?
it's like teenagers who will fall in love, and like every episode it feels begins with like the date. And so we
Oh.
started in 2017. Second episode was in 2018 after New Year's.
So it's like a year
I
past.
think
Like what they're doing with Andor. They're doing the same thing with Andor.
maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
enjoyed Tales of the Underworld, which on Pantheon yesterday I spoke a lot about
Oh,
as much
Star
as
Wars?
I could. Yeah, but Star Wars,
I haven't seen it yet.
sure, but Chillmonger enjoys things, and
Did you see Andor?
he does spend time on it. No, I don't enjoy Andor, so I didn't see it.
You didn't enjoy the first season, or you didn't enjoy Rogue One?
I didn't. I like Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like Andor season 1.
Really?
I respect people who do. Shout out to you guys.
Wow.
And season 2, I just never gave it a chance. I did watch the one scene, the troublesome scene from episode 3,
Jesus
just
Christ.
to see what was going on. And so
Yeah.
I just have an opinion on it.
Dude, you should watch episode 7, 8, and 9. I mean, it's not gonna resonate the same because you have to like literally you can sit there.
Spoil it. Go.
No.
Please spoil it. 'Cause I'm not gonna watch it. Just spoil it and talk to me. Spoiler alert. Go. Just tell me what happens in Andor.
It's just I'm just gonna say no because all the plot.
Please just spoil. Please,
listen to
I'm
me.
asking you. It is a safe space for spoilers. It's been 3 days. This is our
everything
niche.
that happens.
Our audience have seen it. Who wants to see it? Spoil
everything
it.
that happens in episodes 1 to 6.
Yeah,
it coalesces and everything finally comes to a head, and it's very, very brutal. It's like the most. It's brutal without brutal. It's like brutal without like like that whole thing that happened in episode 3 where everybody got like all butthurt about the one dude is like, oh, the Empire draws the line at.
Okay, hold on, wait. I feel like you're gonna say the word, and then this is not that type of stream.
Okay, well, no, sure. but they say it's like oh yeah, no, this is where they draw the line. I'm like, really? Okay. Like you've seen them destroy.
Again, you're arguing
planet,
to me about other YouTubers. I'm not other YouTubers.
No, just points, just like points of contention.
Yeah.
But yes, you should watch it because it leads up to a thing. It leads up to. It's like, okay, this is the thing. So you like the thing when movies connect and come together and reference past events and stuff like that. Yeah. So then you would enjoy Andor season 2 because what happens in the first 6 episodes, even actually in the first 3 episodes, it jumps off on episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then definitely 7, 8, and 9.
Really? 7, 8, and 9 get love?
Yes. 7, 8, and 9. There have been people, and I know they're being hyperbolic.
Sorry. 7, 8, and 9. Did you mean episode 7, 8, or Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker?
Oh no. Episode 7, 8, and 9 of Andor.
Okay, understood. Sorry,
yeah,
I misunderstood it at the first time.
Yeah. No, I mean, and we know obviously where the story leads, where it ends. Like we already know the ending of the story. So, but it's just. Dude, you really should. You really should. If you care at all,
what happens. I wish you would have just spoiled it when you had a chance.
No.
Thunderbolts gets an 8.5, and you said 7.5.
That's about right.
So
8.5 somewhere. I don't see, but I've never liked Sentry at all. Like I never, as a character, ever. Maybe Bendis did it for me, because Bendis ruins a lot of things for me. He ruined John Kent for me, that's for sure.
I swear I like everything though. LOL. That's healthy. I'm not there. There was a chance. There was a time I'd give everything a chance. I think going into Rise of Skywalker. Oh no, Episode 8, Last Jedi. That's the first time I went. Something I like is bad. No, this is no way. I didn't know what it felt like to.
Now
to
wait, why didn't you like it at that time? I'm not defending it. I'm just curious.
I tried to like
No,
it.
but what
I remember
specifically?
the feeling of leaving The Last Jedi,
Mhm.
and I even said to somebody, I said, the first movie was better, or Force Awakens was better than this one. So I knew that much, right? But I didn't say this movie is bad, right? I just didn't have a good experience with a movie, or as good of an experience I used to. It was still Star Wars, right? There's probably going to be Easter eggs and anything. I can learn more. And just the passing day, I even watched it again, and I went, "This is bad. No, really?" And it was a weird experience for me, bro. Last Jedi it broke me. It made me critical. I used to be like you, where I liked everything. Thunderbolts is a 4-star movie. So again, when we say it's overrated,
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5, yeah. 8
4 out of 4. I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Is that 4 out of 5?
I think he's going by the general, the 5-star rule. So when we call it an 8 out of 10 movie, and everyone's calling it an 8 out of 10 movie, I wouldn't say like you can ever say that it's an overrated movie, or 7 out of 10, 7.5.
Right.
I don't think
if everybody's like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest Marvel movie ever since Winter Soldier," or something like that, like, yeah, then it's overrated.
Andor isn't really Star Wars. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I disagree with that.
They wasted the century. Do you think they wasted the century?
Oh no, I was disagreeing with the Andor. Wasted. Well, see, I don't like Sentry to begin. I liked Sentry in this movie. I don't like him in the comics. I liked him in the movie.
Spoilers gotta go. Nah, Kenny, he wouldn't spoil it.
Yeah, no. I don't roll like that, Kenny.
Forced head. LOL. Did someone say forced head?
I don't know.
I enjoy Thunderbolts. What's up, chillin', Mike? Hello. Tank says, watch episodes 8 and 9. It finally feels like Rogue One's prequel.
To chill, I'm telling you.
Forrest Whitaker's in it, right?
No, he's in 5 and 6, I think.
This guy says the Sentry was the key moment of the movie. Thanks, this guy. Thanks, pal. Thanks, dude. 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
7.0. 7.0. Is that like a British thing? 7.0. You guys are strange. Anticlimactic Thunderbolts.
But see, technically, it wasn't even the Thunderbolts. I mean, it was the Thunderbolts because it was the soccer team, but it wasn't the Thunderbolts as they exist in the Marvel comic. And this is the thing I keep telling people: if you realize that the Marvel comics are different than the Marvel Cinematic Universe, your life will be so much better. Yes, they're going to take elements they're going to adapt these storylines. They're going to take characters and whatever else and use them, but it's not going to be the exact same thing. Would I have liked to see a Baron Zemo-led Thunderbolts? Absolutely. But you know what? I read the comic, so I would have known how it would have ended, and there wouldn't have been no twist at the end. So this is fine. This is fine.
I'm playing Marvel Rivals, and I'm a Marvel fan to the core, but I love the Superman character. When no one's asking to be tribal, yeah. So
don't do that. Did you hear what happened with like Ricochet and Javon?
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with it. Yes, and now there's like PC training, so that's funny. Social media training. So Thunderbolts, 177 worldwide. I wanted to see if they had the updated Thursday numbers, and they didn't. It's still on Wednesday. It's been a long day, bro. I think I'm disappointed with how long it's taking to update that part. It's usually there by
Friday, right?
Yeah, but usually by 5 p.m. they're usually there with whatever happened the previous day. Yesterday, I wanted to know. Excuse me. I wanted to know the Wednesday numbers yesterday, and by 5 p.m. Eastern, they had the numbers there.
Maybe because it's a weekend.
I don't have experience or a pattern that I can draw to tell you a long-term pattern. I can only tell you my yesterday. I don't know how Box Office Mojo usually works on Friday evenings or 5 p.m. on Fridays. I can't tell you that.
Are there any new movies opening this weekend?
nothing major. No.
Oh, okay. So then potentially this could have a steady
Yeah, that's planned though.
box office.
Annabelle, a re-release from it's coming out. They planned this like other studios, cornucopia.
Well, yeah, actually, there was what movie? Oh, the movie. Oh, I got to take you to task for
Clown
this.
in a cornfield.
Hold on. Yeah, that's not even D-list, dude.
It's a wide release though.
There was a video that Chillmonger did. Let me see what the exact, because I got to get I have to get the title.
I'll
straight.
read. I don't think it's the best movie since Winter Soldier. Well, see, when you start like that, Paul, you're right, of course. But everything you're going to tell me, I'm going to agree with. But that's just a high bar. I will say that since Endgame, I've not exited a movie and wanted to see it again straight away since this movie. It got me in the feels twice. That's a valid experience of you that you are retelling, and I support Paul's Glindor. I support his opinion.
His experience, yes. So, okay, let me ask you this question. Why 2 days ago did Chillmonger do a live stream that said, who asked for this? Is Shadow Force worth seeing this weekend?
Because during that live stream for 45 minutes, I
Mhm.
entertained who asked for this, what Shadow Force was. I watched the trailer. I answered these questions during that. It was the first time I ever seen the trailer. I just knew who was starring it going into it, and I gave you that. I answered it like twice during the video. Why?
Well,
why? What's wrong with what I did?
Well, because that's being provocative, and for somebody such as myself, I didn't intentionally not read it. Not watch it because I didn't want to watch it. But if there's somebody who's not a viewer, a regular viewer, because I was like, okay, I let the possibility of you getting people in there under the premise that, because this is like there's other YouTuber, and I'm speaking about the entire YouTube community. There are other YouTubers who reviewed, what was the movie with Viola Davis that came out recently?
Woman King.
No, where she's the president.
I don't know.
There was let me see, hold on. It came out, and there were individual channels that reviewed this movie, even though that's not their forte. Now, why would they do something like that? Is it because they're trying to promote? Let's see,
You
Amazon.
give those guys a lot of publicity on my channel. Yeah.
G20. It was essentially like, I'm assuming Air Force One, but with Viola Davis. And not on a plane. Like, I guess they go to the G20 summit, and then there you go. And, terrorists take it over and stuff like that. No, but if somebody sees your title, they're going to assume well, why are you trashing this particular movie?
It's a question. And the people who see my title know who I am because they subscribe to my channel. They know exactly what my
take. But what if the algorithm throws you on the front page?
Then they're welcome to join, and they can hear out everything I talk about and why I'm against guns. I'm against some of the things that this movie did have, but I was for the family.
You saw it?
Funny. Sorry.
You saw it?
The trailer.
Oh,
it's coming out tonight. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, that's right. That's right. Because this was one of the movies that moved because they didn't want to compete with Thunderbolts.
I didn't like it, Paul. Yeah, this is Shadow Force is coming out tonight. It's supposed to compete with Thunderbolts. It won't compete with Thunderbolts. It doesn't have that, And Sinners is probably going to be the movie taking black audience dollars from people who just didn't go to the movies yet. Sinners.
But see, why can't there be more?
If you haven't gone to the movies in the last 4 weeks, the movie you're going to go see is Sinners. If you're a black audience member and who's an adult who can afford a rated R ticket, that's your movie. More likely than not. I think it's fair to say that. You agree? See, it's how hard it is to agree.
Well, I'm not necessarily. I
don't necessarily disagree. That's agreeing, Mike.
No.
I don't necessarily disagree. You know how much time you say that to me now? That's now I'm onto your tricks. You just don't want to ever lose. You're just like, I don't necessarily disagree. However,
no. See, I didn't say that. Why are you inferring that? No, I'm just thinking that
we're gonna.
I don't. I see this thing, and it bothers me that like movies should be made regardless. Whoever's going to pay to make a movie, let them pay to make a movie. Like, don't look into it. Like, there can be a ton of Asian movies. There could be a ton of black movies. There could be a ton of Hispanic movies. There could be a ton of like. We
There's
don't sit
not.
there and question. But this is what I'm saying. We don't sit there and question when here's another movie starring Adam Sandler, or here's another movie starring like whatever. It's like, why is that not say, oh yeah, why, like it's always like there's always a thing about, well, and I guess because there aren't so many of them, I guess you want to make the ones that there are good. But it's like, but let there be bad. There can be bad ones too. It's okay. Like you can't always, when you go in there with that sort of a mind frame, you're going to fail because you have
I don't
that.
think I don't think you realize what you're asking me to drop and leave at the door. You're
No,
asking
not
me,
you. No. I'm just saying in general. Like I just feel it's an extra like negative, like you're bringing extra negative juju to it. Like when you do something like that, like just don't do that. Like say, was it a good movie? Was it a stupid, like when you like back in the 80s, like you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, like these stupid action movies, like really dumb, and they were intended to be really dumb action movies. You just go in there and you enjoy it. You shut your brain off and you watch like Arnold Schwarzenegger like messing dudes up for an hour and a half or whatever, and that was it.
okay.
Like here, why can't I would want to see Carrie? Well, I'd like to do a lot of things with Carrie Watt, but like I mean, you see, it's just a stupid action movie. Like it's a drama thriller, whatever it says there. Just like let it happen. Like I mean, don't sit there and it's just I don't know. I just feel it's a disservice to the movie itself because you can have. Why can there only be one? I mean, you're going to get like why wouldn't there?
You're not asking me that question. You did not just ask me why.
No. That was a rhetorical question.
Okay.
Like just putting it out there. Like it doesn't. There shouldn't only be like, oh yeah, well, if there's going to be a black dollar, it has to go to this movie, not this movie.
No, but
like,
that's just reality. I was just speaking to reality of the consumers who. Now, if you've seen Sinners already and you want to watch something fresh at the movie theaters, I can see why Shadow Force would stick out. But to the person who hasn't gone to a movie in the last 30 days, the one that they've been hearing about was Sinners, and so that person will go to see that. That's all I meant.
But see, I also no. Okay, yeah, I guess. I mean, I just
we should. But Shadow Force is worth giving our attention to. Let's go support it, guys. Let's all see that movie. There should be a channel or a review or some sort of panel. If you see the movie tonight, I'll see the movie tonight also. I can make plans. And
we'll see. I still haven't seen Sinners. Like my movie going isn't really
fine. We won't do a stream at midnight later on. Okay,
used to
we won't circle back and be back here with a.
Well, no, but like for instance, dude, I saw a trailer yesterday for a Denzel Washington movie that apparently is I didn't know it was directed by Spike Lee, so it's a new Spike Lee movie. I'm not going.
They're called
like,
joints.
Whatever. I am. Based on the trailer alone, I want to see that movie. I'm not like do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I go in there with a knowledge of the responsibility that this movie has. Instead, I should drop that. That's what it sounds like you're saying.
Yes.
I think I can't ever
because
drop
you're putting a lot, but you're putting a lot on these things though, and sometimes because of that weight, you might not be able to fully enjoy it because you're going to be looking at it through a different prism.
But there's enjoyment. There's a chance I'll enjoy it. I told you 3 times. Forever. It's on Netflix. It's 8 episodes. It's from the creator of Girlfriends, from the creator of The Game, which I found out take place in the same universe. Because in season 6 of Girlfriends, that's where you see Maya.
Wait, The Game, the Michael Douglas movie?
The football thing. It was on UPN and BET.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I can enjoy things. I can go in there and give something a chance, and I'll like it. And it can be a fully black cast, like The Game, like the Forever is, and it's new. And I'm like ready to. When can I have another free hour so I can watch that episode 3 and see what happened with the kiss, which is like still on my mind, and I felt feelings when I saw that kiss happen in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I want to see it while also appreciating the responsibility that we have to have these black movies or TV series succeed so that we can warrant getting more. So that I think her name is Mara Brock Akil, the creator, so that she gets new opportunities. She's only in her 50s. Like she has more movies to direct. I can cheer for it. So it's not at a hindrance. My recognition of how finite these opportunities are and how badly they need to succeed, that doesn't affect me watching the movie. Black Panther in 2018, maybe for that one you can tell me it affected, because I actually went into that movie and was more relieved when I left the movie theater because it was good, instead of like, this movie was great and I was happy about it. I was just relieved because the movie worked.
See,
There's no
but I'm not, and I'm not saying you're being disingenuous or anything like that or lying, but like you just said, like you said earlier, not just with your Thunderbolts assessment, you went in there and you're like, well, yeah, I knew because this wasn't going to be a connecting thing or something. Like you had your list of biases that you had, and that's just a superhero movie. This is something that's more political and more important, and like that.
So a racially significant movie and a superhero movie are different senses, different responsibilities, different feelings for me. I don't think they can ever be compared. The way I go into Thunderbolts isn't the same feeling as the way I go into black movies, black TV shows. And
doesn't that affect your viewing though?
You're talking about pre-biases,
preconceived notions.
Notions. Thank you. Yeah, those exist, but they're different enough to where that you can't compare the two. Well, my preconceived notions of Thunderbolts is just different than my preconceived notions for Forever or for Shadow Force, which we got coming up tonight.
But you shouldn't have them at all. You should be like, I hope this movie's good. I hope this movie doesn't suck. I hope this movie is directed by a competent director, unlike the Batman directed by Matt Reeves, who hopefully is not going to be doing the second one.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have that. I shouldn't have it, but it does exist. And because I know too much, and because of how involved I am with this superhero genre, that I cover it for a living, and I'm in the business of it.
But you can do it, quote unquote. You can do it. I do it. You can do it, and I'm surrounded by this in my store. Like
I choose not to do it. I choose to live the life where I don't drop off everything I know about this franchise. I choose not to. Sorry, but that's what the Thunderbolts are to me, bro. That's the Thunderbolts. Any other movie in Marvel, I think, yeah, but Thunderbolts, no. Or even Brave New Worlds, because
I'm not even saying no. I'm not just speaking directly about Thunder. I'm just in general, in anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, yes, with this,
you'll get that. You're gonna, what you want me to do, you'll have that for most movies. This is the rare time where I go, ugh. I'm not gonna do that for Supergirl. I'm not gonna do that for Avengers Doomsday. I'll give it a chance because it's the Russos, because I trust who's making the cookie.
Right. Well, see, I know your feelings on multiverses as it is. Like, you didn't watch What If because it's just a waste of time and there's no reason to watch it. But it's just to have an entertaining What If story. Like, if you read the What If comics, which I'm assuming that you didn't, they were just funny. Like, you'd talk about oh my God, what if this happened? Or what, it'd be crazy shit. Like, and
what if Miles was Thor? A great comic book.
Well, I'm talking about the earlier stuff, dude. Marvel was wilding out with that stuff. I mean, recently they did a thing with whatchamacallit, Galactus. They had 5 different issues of like Moon Knight being Galactus's herald, Rogue. I forgot who the other. I know one of them, and I refuse to say this individual's name, but I'm sure you can figure out who it is.
Someone to make a name for himself, yeah.
Stop it. Yes, that idiot. But it was just like, it was 5 issues of literally just different individuals being Galactus's herald. Like, sometimes I do think that Marvel is creatively bankrupt, depending on like whom they get. I mean, Jonathan Hickman just did an interview where he feels that his X-Men run was not good. And I'm like,
yeah, because he didn't finish the story.
Right. But that was because they voted to continue the first arc of his 3-arc plan, even though he said, like, it's almost like, like they did with with J.H. Williams and I forgot whoever his writing partner is. They were writing Batwoman, and they laid it out. And this is, I don't know if it's because of the editorial, but they laid out the plan. They had like a 2-year plan for Batwoman. And involved in that plan, she was going to get married to her girlfriend. And then the editor that they signed off on it and said, okay, yeah, this is a good idea. Let's do this. He left. And then the new editor came in. And when they said, hey, we're going to do this. Oh yeah, you can't do that. Okay. And you're like, oh, because you don't like gay marriage. And you're like, no, because we don't want we don't like a Bat member of the Bat family being happy. So then that's why they're like, you know what, we're done. We don't want to do this anymore. And like, oh well, you're going to end one issue sooner. So they didn't even finish their run. But like those are things that happen in like when you're talking about like the whole Black Panther thing. Like
Bring it back to Hickman. Finish that thought out.
Oh, well, so like
Hickman had a vote and everyone agreed. But and it's just like the Batgirl. You brought up the Batgirl situation so that you could say that. Why did Hickman go into it telling everyone there's going to be 3 acts? There's going to be a time where I'm going to jump off act 1. And
well, he also said there was COVID. It was COVID, business, and something else.
COVID delays things a little bit.
No, those were the factors that were involved in the reason why it didn't continue.
I don't see how a pandemic has anything to do with your story about the X-Men characters and how you told them in 2019 there's going to be 3 acts. And when it was time to move to act 2, there was a vote of, should we continue with act 2? Yeah. Hey, people don't care about comics for people. I'm not a comic book channel anymore. I'm more of a like movies, TV show, entertainment type of guy. So yes, Black Panther, you're saying? What? Were you going to bring up the comic Black Panther or the movie Black Panther?
Both. And like well, see, I can't talk about the movie stuff. I can talk about, like, for instance, it came out about the whole getting rid of the Fantastic Four because they didn't want to promote I say that because they felt the comic books were promoting the movie back in when was the Michael
Ike
Jordan?
Perlmutter in 2015 stopped making comic book movies called comic books called Fantastic Four. Why? Yes. Who knows? Stupid reason, but he stopped doing it. When the rights were bought and Fox was owned by Marvel, they started making Fantastic Four comics. So there was like a 3-4 year run where no comic book called Fantastic Four came out.
Oh, yeah, it was actually longer than that. But the reason was because, again, he felt that it was promoting the movies and they didn't own it. They were petty. Stupid. And this is the thing. I mean, this speaks to the whole, if you want to talk about Black Panther, the whole pettiness of that, whether it's true, like whatever decision was made between Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler and Nate Moore, that happened between those 3, whether it was a decision, like, Kevin deferred to them or they made their case for why it shouldn't be, or maybe they just felt that way. I don't know what the reason is, but they have shown in the past, at least through the comic aspect of it, the comic publishing, that they have they have it in them to be petty. Like the entire time, what was it, 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere around there, where they were actively burying the X-Men as a franchise and trying to prop up the Inhumans because obviously they owned more of the Inhumans than they did.
They were petty about it. Yes, pettiness exists, and that's what's happening in the comics. How was the pettiness from the movie studio?
No, I'm saying
today.
Because we don't know what happened with as far as other than them saying Chadwick was the iconic Black Panther.
We have more. You probably didn't see this one then.
In the MCU moving forward, and what is it like having to balance loyalty to a fan base and to a performer as regal and elegant as Chadwick Boseman, along with the future of that franchise, that character, and of Wakanda?
Yeah, it's a great question. I will say the chances that you see T'Challa in I'm not hedging my bets. I'm being quite honest. T'Challa you will not see T'Challa in the MCU 616 universe.
That was him, and he said that in 2021.
So they're getting rid of him in the comics?
No, this was a retort to you explaining we don't know how it went down, and I'm saying no, we had insight. Nate Moore has spoken about how the decision was made, and he says you won't see him in the 616, or he means the movies when he said 616.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he said 616. So it's
keep going, Nate.
We couldn't do it. I mean, I will say when Chad passed, it was a real conversation we had with Coogler about what do we do, and it was a fast conversation. It wasn't weeks; it was minutes of we have to figure out how to move this franchise on without that character, because I think we all feel so much of T'Challa in the MCU on the screen, not in comics, right? Is tied to Chadwick's performance.
We all feel so much of it. So it's a Kevin Feige, it's Nate, and it's Ryan. 3-way. Like they all said, I think we all feel that way. But we're gonna give him like he just say I think we feel. Maybe only 2 of them feel it, but Kevin doesn't. No, they all feel that way. Kevin told you he transcends any iteration from the character in the past, so he feels that way. He said it with his own mouth. It's not rocket science here, bro. That they told us what it was. Do they still feel that in 2025? We'll find out at Comic-Con if our new T'Challa actor Damson Idris. Hey, we'll find out. It worked for Star Wars. The guy who plays the Hound on Game of Thrones, is playing Ray Stevenson's old character. It worked.
Yeah.
They cheered.
Actually, well, wait. You saw the first episode of Andor? There's a dude in Andor, the second season I'm talking about. In the second season, I think it was in the first two. I don't remember too much of the first season of Andor, but in the second season, I think he would have been a good replacement for him because he had like the same build, like and the beard and all that stuff. But he died in Andor. Spoiler, sorry. But yeah.
In back to our Thunderbolts reporting, let's refresh the page and see if on their Thursday numbers are not in just yet. There's other places that report on Thursday's numbers, and before I leave today, I want to actually go to it. Maybe there's a tweet somewhere from Thunderbolts Thursday. Oh, there's a tweet. Funny. Okay. It says Disney's Thunderbolts grossed $4.26 million on Thursday. The total domestic is at 95.
So what does that mean?
It means 4 million is a drop from Wednesday.
And who is this boxofficereport.com?
Yeah, I didn't vet these guys. Let's go to read
because anybody can buy a check mark now.
It's a theatrical box office website specializing in box office reporting and predictions, run by Daniel. So at least he's not just a nobody. He puts his name behind it. But we're going off of.
Oh, and he's followed by Rob Liefeld. That's all I need to see.
Where does it say that?
Highlight his name again.
Followed by Rob Liefeld.
There we go.
Someone in the industry follows him, but to you, that's not that you don't give him
poison.
That.
Yes, they don't.
Hello to Perp. Perp plays with me because he knows that it says an hour 59, and I was ready to kind of close it at 2 hours, but nope. Here comes Perp.
Another voice of reason.
Boo. Should have been a Cap gathering, a new team, and let the Suicide Squad take on the Red Hulk. Yeah, it could have been a lot of things, but they decided not to do it.
But why do people they keep doing these attempted correlation things? Like Thunderbolts was never. Now we can't.
Yeah, you're scratchy.
Oh, now you're robotic.
Yeah, I don't. So we are gonna end
being
this
assimilated.
2 hours. We are going to close out. Go subscribe to me. Subscribe to Mike from Row Comics. And Perp Minded also has a YouTube channel. Try again. Say something. Nah.
I just say
that's it. 2 hours. Thanks for coming. Appreciate all of it. We're out.